All right. Hey, it is last day and we are live. I guess we can kind of coin that as a phrase, last day live. So if you do these on the last day, that would kind of be awesome. So, hey, good morning everybody here, and also good morning everybody watching. This is a fantastic opportunity the fire department's provided us with. They're taking a chance on our station and a chance on what we bring to the table every single day. So this is a good thing. Normally we have a shift of 6, but we've got a shift of 4 this morning. Our medic went out on a call. So we'll start the day as appropriate. When we talk about the fire department taking the chance, it's kind of weird. We're an accredited agency now, right? So this started happening this year. You take 5 years ago, that was something we never even thought of, right? Man, is the fire department going to get accredited? Can we justify what we do? Are we doing the right thing every single day? And so when you have moments like this, it's not a moment of coincidence. It's not this is actually a moment of chance. We're actually taking this to say, hey, why are we the best? Why are we doing this? We can actually expose ourselves to the world. So it's actually good to take this chance, and that's the whole point of accreditation is, hey, exposing your fire department, letting people see our business practices and taking those opportunities. So this is actually a really good thing for us to do. So thank you to the fire department. Thank you to everybody watching, and more importantly, thank you guys for being a part of this. Today, last day, any hold and recall issues? Nope. Cool. Last day items, we got floors and equipment. Let's make sure we close out all of our accounts. We got telestaff and focus. Lee Warner, he needs that all updated by the end of the day. We'll send all of our slips in probably by next day. Let's see. What is that?
Talk louder.
Oh. Got a new SICPO. It's John Flynn. He's starting next day, so that's going to be a quick turnaround. So we'll see how that goes.
Welcome to the fire.
Welcome to the hot seat there. Welcome to the hot seat there. That's going to be pretty epic. Couple other things we got planned for today. We're going to get to the gym about 8 o'clock. We need to go over and coordinate with 38 and talk about some of this rural water drill things that we have for the next month. And of course, the phone rings right in the middle of this.
Company 15, Technician Swanson, can I help you? He is. We're in the middle of lineup. Can I ask who's calling? Hey! Lester, we got you. Yeah, can you hold on 1 second? Do you actually want to talk to him? We're more than happy to accommodate your need, however. Sir, are you ready? Got you. Hold on. Bye. That is some crews on the highway that are rejoicing at our donuts.
Oh.
So, just letting you know, they are appreciative of our donuts.
Is that Lester Flint?
It is Lester Flint.
God bless Lord and no place else, as I always say. So thank you to the guys down in the 6th.
They're watching.
They are watching. Fantastic. Well, hey, normally, we go with our SOPs, but I left the Officer Development Academy yesterday. I was really pumped on my way home. I didn't come in there with the best demeanor yesterday, but when I left, I was really pumped. Mark Davison and Ted Shellhammer and all the women from Alternative Dispute Resolution, they put on a great show yesterday. We learned a lot. There was one word that came out of this whole thing, and it was listening. And
what'd you say?
It was listening. Exactly. And, we don't do the best job with listening. And, you take that to your personal life and even what we do here at the station. And I had to laugh because towards the end of the day, I always use this phrase at home where I say, sometimes we listen to respond rather than listening to understand. And I really think that's crucial in what we do here in the fire service, and especially when we go outside. A lot of times people call 911 and they really just want to be heard. Simple things as where do you want to go to the hospital, and actually giving them that request and taking them to where they want to go and actually listening to them. A lot of people just want to be heard. And those are varying levels of emergency, and you can apply that to your own life. And so that lesson of just being able to sit back and actually do some active listening, the whole lesson of the day was conflict resolution, but it was totally awesome going through all those role play scenarios yesterday and just sitting back and saying, you know what would happen if we literally just took the time to sit back and actually just say, let me stop talking and let me hear who I'm talking to. Did I hear what Roberto said? Did I hear what Teresa said? Did I hear what Jim said? did I hear what Ed said? You know, and that way you can come up with a response. But in this business, we're usually all here to what? We want to help people. We're fixers, right? So we tend to listen to fix rather than listen to actually hear that person out. So I think if we actually take the time to actually listen, we can kind of change our thought process. And, you know, you had 20 plus folks in there literally all saying, I came away from this today saying I need to listen more. And I thought that was very important. And, you know, we talk about mental health in the fire service and just in the world today. And I think sometimes people just want to be heard. And so if we can actually do that, do active listening, and I'm going to try to do better in my personal life. I'll try to do better when I'm here. But it's very important to just take that time to listen to folks. One other thing I took away from yesterday was I was sitting next to Jay Dennis from 35, and today is really special for me because 12 years ago today, I went to probably my longest assignment, which was in Lorton. And I always have to laugh about that place because when you start out, I didn't have the greatest first year in the fire department, but when I went there, it was that fresh start. And too often we talk about a fresh start, and Jay Dennis said something awesome yesterday. He said, instead of starting at 0, why don't we start an employee at 100? And it's the mindset, it's the way of thinking. You know, it's like, what did I say when I first got here? We only look down to lift somebody up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's powerful in itself. If I'm going to look down at you, I'm not going to pull you back up to 0. I'm going to pull you back to the level that we're all at. And I think that's important. So if I pull you up to 100, and then we can start that path from there, you're clean slate. It's the glass half full, glass half empty type of thing. So I think that's important. I think that's something that we all need to kind of embrace. And we talk about equity and inclusion in the fire service now. We talk about making those strides to be better as an organization. And I was like, man, if we could actually go ahead and start people up here versus bringing them in and saying, hey, we're going to start you down here. Sure, do you still have to earn your way? Yeah, you got to earn respect. You got to still do the work. But at the same time, it's like, man, that mindset is like, hey, I'm starting at the same level as everybody else, and it's up to me to choose where I'm going to go from there. I thought that was very powerful yesterday, so I took a lot of stuff from ODA. It was thought about it on my way home, and you try to bring those things into your personal life, and also, you know, try to share with you guys here this morning. So just kind of think about that in your walk, and you know, if you can start up here versus starting out here, that's powerful. And we talk a lot about leadership, right? What's the difference between leadership and management? Jim, what do you think?
Management is the everyday activities that you do in the station to make sure that this machine is rolling right along and we're doing the things that we need to do for the citizens. Leadership is the ability to get the things done and not sell it to, but lead by example and show the troops how it's done. So effective leadership. You're going to model. You want to lead the people into doing the best thing possible. Be operational ready. So.
No, I completely agree. And you know, some people will say, man, leadership is an art. Leadership is that belief. When I went to 19, literally 12 years ago today, I always thought, I was like, man, you know, I look back on today and I say, man, that was a new lease on life. Because for me, it was like, man, I'm starting somewhere new. This is exciting. And, you know, those folks embraced me. I used to, you know, and shameful plug, but I always keep this with me. And I used to say this patch made me feel strong. But it's not the patch, it's not the building, it was the people that I held this patch with, you know. So the station doesn't make the crew makes the station. I firmly believe that. And if you kind of embody that and you think about the belief that you have in folks, you know, that empowers them. If you believe in somebody, that's leadership. You know, we talk about management versus leadership. Hey, management is just task driven. You know, anybody can be a manager, but I don't even like the term manager, you know. But if you say leadership is vision driven. You know, what's the end goal? Where are we trying to go? So I always say, think about that. That's why I always carry this with me, because that was a family, and we're trying to build that here. So when you look back, and if you leave here, or if you stay here even longer, and you look at that patch and you say, hey, you know, this made me feel strong.
How many years were you at 19?
11 and some change. It was a long time. I felt like I grew up there. You know, that was good time. You know, went through a lot of good, a lot of bad, but also at the same time, it was able me to get promoted. You know, you look at the leaders that I had. You know, you look at the Marty Ranks and a guy named Dave Hessler who had no reason to spend any time with me, but when I took the lieutenant's test, he sat up there with me for weeks on end. I always credit Dave Hessler for getting promoted, hands down. If it wasn't for him, there's no way I'd be sitting right here with you today. So I always think about those moments, so that's why that place is special to me, and that's why today is special to me. But, we move on. We're here, and we're trying to build that same family vibe here. So that's why I think we're really doing some good stuff. So we'll continue to move on. But with that being said, keep those things to your heart, in terms of what leadership is and what management is. It's very easy to manage something. That's just moving something from point A to point B. But, you think of, can you actually teach someone to teach someone else? Some people call it mentoring, but those are those little fine essences of leadership that we talk about. So, take that with you, and, we'll get started with our day. So I know we've got hydraulics and a few other things to do today on the whiteboard, and I'd like to get the 400-foot line off today if we can. We'll see how the calls dictate that, and then we'll get to the gym at about 8 o'clock.
Class starts at 7:30, just so you know.
Perfect. Well, if we can, I think we can finagle that. So
otherwise,
teleconference.
We'll
Does
be a little
anybody
late.
need anything brought to headquarters or picked up?
no.
No. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, cool. All right. Good deal.